Hey everyone, welcome to Judging for the Win. I'm Dave, and this is my daily ruling. Amy plays a yes man, and next turn she activates its ability to give it to Nick. Then she goes to draw 2 cards. Nick stops her and says that he should be the one who gets to draw 2 cards because the word you on an object refers to that object's controller, and since he now controls yes man, that means him. Is Nick's reasoning correct? Well, that certainly is an interesting concern Nick just raised now. I mean, based on the templating of the card, it seems pretty obvious that the intention is for Amy to be the one who gets to draw in this case. Otherwise, I would expect the wording to be something like, when they do, that player draws 2. On the other hand, it's also certainly the case that sometimes cards are worded confusingly, or occasionally you get a situation where a card just doesn't work within the rules the way that it says it does on the card. So, is this one of those cases? The first thing that some of you might have noticed is that the word your appears at the end of this ability, telling you to activate it only during your turn. This one clearly refers to Amy, but that's unfortunately not relevant to the answer here. According to the structure of activated abilities, this sentence is an activation instruction. These are only significant while the ability is being activated. Meanwhile, the you draw 2 cards is significant while the ability is resolving. Since the object's controller is not necessarily the same when the ability is being activated as it is when it resolves, there's no guarantee that these 2 words both refer to the same player. On the other hand, another thing that you might have noticed about Yes Man's ability is that it uses the word win. Now, that's important because win is a word that introduces a triggered ability. So what kind of ability is this? To get a full answer to this question from the original problem statement, we'll need to closely examine how Yes Man's ability functions. When this ability resolves, we'll follow the steps in order. First, Nick gains control of the Yes Man, then that causes the when you do triggered ability to trigger. This sort of triggered ability that triggers from a player taking an action during the resolution of another ability is called a reflexive triggered ability. Because the instruction to draw 2 happens in this triggered ability's results, we need to know who controls that reflexive trigger. This might be related to the person who controls Yes Man or the person who controls the activated ability, but what we really need to know to answer this question of who gets to draw 2 cards is who controls that triggered ability. We'll start out with this important fact that reflexive triggered abilities follow all the same rules as delayed triggered abilities. At this point, it might be helpful to see the rest of that rule that I showed when Nick argued that he should be the one to draw. As you can see, delayed triggered abilities, and therefore also reflexive triggered abilities, follow special rules when it comes to determining who their controller is. If an activated ability creates a delayed triggered ability, the controller of the delayed triggered ability is the same as the player who controlled the activated ability as it resolved. Gee, I wonder who that's going to be. Oh yeah, that's right, we actually saw this already. An activated ability's controller is the player who activated it. So let's recap. Amy activated Yes Man's ability. Therefore, she controls that activated ability. Therefore, she controls any delayed triggered abilities that activated ability might create when it resolves. Because reflexive triggered abilities follow the same rules as delayed triggers, she controls any reflexive triggers that ability creates as it resolves too. Because Amy is the controller of the reflexive trigger, she is the one who draws 2 cards, just like we expected. But I think it's kind of satisfying to see how all that heavy lifting and rules citations work together to give us a simple answer to this question. If the card was worded just a little bit differently, the answer would change. But everything works together to give us the answer we all probably expected from the beginning. By the way, following similar reasoning, we can say that Amy is also the person who officially is considered to put the quest counter on Yes Man here, in case anything might care about that detail. And that's all I have for you today. How did you do? Join me again next time for another daily ruling. Until then, I hope you have a great day.